LG monitors sometimes exhibit unwanted brightness changes due to features like auto-dimming, dynamic frequency control, DFC, and HDR. Auto-dimming adjusts brightness based on ambient light or content for energy efficiency and eye comfort. Dynamic frequency control, DFC, dynamically adjusts refresh rates and brightness to optimize power and performance. HDR enhances contrast and color depth, but can cause brightness oscillations due to tone mapping errors. These features are intended to enhance viewing, but can cause distracting flickering or dimming due to firmware bugs, hardware issues, or software interactions. Auto-dimming is a feature that adjusts your monitor's brightness based on ambient light or the content you're viewing. While designed for energy efficiency and eye comfort, it can cause unwanted brightness fluctuations. To disable auto-dimming, start by accessing your monitor's on-screen display menu. Press the menu button, typically located on the monitor's bezel. Once in the OSD, navigate to the Brightness or Settings menu. Look for options labeled Eco Mode, Ambient Light Sensor, or Adaptive Brightness. Select the auto-dimming option and turn it off. This prevents the monitor from automatically reducing brightness in response to lighting conditions. By disabling auto-dimming, you'll maintain consistent brightness levels, eliminating unwanted changes during use. DFC dynamically adjusts refresh rates and brightness to save power. However, it can interfere with user-set brightness levels. In the OSD menu, find DFC or similar settings related to dynamic contrast or overdrive and disable it. Disabling DFC can stabilize brightness, especially in variable refresh rate modes like FreeSync. HDR, or high dynamic range, dramatically improves contrast and color depth in images and videos. However, it can sometimes cause brightness oscillations, where the screen dims or brightens unexpectedly during playback. To fix HDR brightness issues, first ensure your monitor's firmware is up to date. Manufacturers like LG release updates that address tone mapping and brightness control problems. Next, access your monitor's on-screen display menu and check HDR settings. Look for options like HDR mode selection or brightness calibration that might be causing the oscillations. Also, verify HDR settings in your operating system's display options. On Windows, check the HDR toggle in display settings, and on Mac, enable HDR in the display preferences. If issues persist, experiment with different HDR modes on your monitor, or temporarily disable HDR to see if brightness stabilizes. This can help identify if the problem is HDR specific. Outdated firmware can cause brightness glitches, auto-dimming issues, and HDR fluctuations on LG monitors. Use LG's on-screen control software to check for and install the latest firmware updates for your monitor. The on-screen control software connects to Windows Update, which delivers firmware through the function driver to your monitor. These firmware updates often include fixes for auto-dimming and HDR-related brightness problems. Stability mode toggles are added to lock brightness levels and prevent fluctuations. Loose or faulty HDMI and DisplayPort cables can cause display issues, including brightness fluctuations. Always ensure your cables are securely connected at both ends. Additionally, update your graphics card drivers to the latest version. Incompatible or outdated AMD or NVIDIA drivers can conflict with LG monitor settings and cause brightness problems. When software fixes don't resolve brightness issues, hardware problems may be the cause. Overheating can trigger automatic dimming as the monitor protects itself by reducing power consumption. Faulty backlights can cause uneven or inconsistent brightness across the screen, leading to dimming problems that affect the entire display. Pulse width modulation, or PWM, controls the backlight intensity by rapidly switching it on and off. When faulty, it can cause visible flickering that affects viewing comfort. Different PWM implementations have varying effects on display quality. Check LG's website for recalls on your specific monitor model, as some have been issued for hardware defects in backlight systems or other components. If you suspect a hardware defect, contact LG customer support for diagnostic assistance and potential repairs or replacements under warranty. By adjusting auto-dimming, DFC, HDR settings, updating firmware, and checking connections, you can often resolve brightness issues on LG monitors. If problems persist, consult LG's support website or user forums for model-specific solutions and potential hardware-related problems. Remember to check warranty status before seeking repairs.